Shawn Michaels was promoted to Senior Vice President of Talent Development Creative. CBS reports that Michaels will continue to oversee creative in NXT, as well as being in charge of developmental talent and WWE's development brand. Right, so I mentioned this because this is actually what I'm about to say, a holdover from last week with CM Punk. And I wrote down, but didn't ask you, a lot of people were comparing CM Punk's attitude, as well as his apparently close relationship with Tony Khan, a sort of mirroring of Shawn Michaels and Vince McMahon in the 1990s. And you were back in the WWF in the mid-90s, the Michaels-McMahon relationship. Was Shawn that big of a pain in the locker room? I know the Harris boys thought he was.
Well, not to me, he wasn't, because I had very little contact with him. Why he had contact with the Harris boys is because he was running around bad-mouthing Ron and Don behind their back. And I don't know why. I never heard this, but they did. So one night in Madison Square Garden, and I didn't even know this happened till after we had left the building. We was at the Garden that night. But they called Shawn in there, or he was in there by himself, because Undertaker and some of those guys in the Clique, he wasn't over with the Clique that much, because they had actually gotten tired of some of his stuff too. But Undertaker actually pulled guard for him and told him that, hey, he's in there by himself now. So they went in and they jacked him up. And they told him if they ever hear their names has come out of his mouth again, they will beat the living elf out of him. See how I did elf instead of the other words? See, I had respect for it. Just since you're in Turkey,
Fudge.
Yeah, they would beat the hell out of him. And I don't think Vince even heard about that till much, much later. Shawn, to me, he was actually decent to me, not overly friendly, because he wasn't overly friendly to anybody, even his friends back in those days. But he was I heard a lot of stories about him, but to me he was okay, because I never had any dealings with him.
Did you have any other dealings or hear rumours of any other Clique manipulations? Because I know they went on strike once in late 1995, and Vince McMahon had to fly down to wherever he was to get them to go on the road, that kind of thing.
Well, they manipulated their spot on the card, and they also overstated their importance in the card. Yeah, you would probably not draw unless Shawn Michaels and some of those people were on the card, because they were the stars. If you do a show and you feature, I don't know, Milli Vanilli, I guess, and you go to the show and there's no Milli Vanilli, well, hell, that's what they advertised. So I think Vince was in the process right then of learning that he didn't want talent. And this is a fact that he kept during all these years when things were like going south. He didn't want the talent to override the brand. He didn't want people coming through the door saying, oh, I want to see Shawn Michaels. He didn't like that. He wanted the people coming through the door saying, I want to see WWF or WWE. He wanted them to have the brand up here and the talent underneath there, which doesn't work that way, but that's what he wanted. Mm-hmm. So did he cause some problems for other people? Oh, I'm sure. Because you didn't see any other people breaking into the Clique in those days, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there was like a couple on the periphery, maybe PJ Walker, just incredible. And I think they always had Jeff Jarrett in the car as well when there was a spare seat.
Well, I don't think they much like Jeff either, to tell you the truth. Really? I don't know why. No, because later on, Steve Austin wasn't in the Clique, but I don't know, Steve and Jeff didn't really see eye to eye on a lot of things. But I think Steve actually equated that back to when he booked himself into Tennessee and he wasn't making any money. He's told this story. He was eating like, I don't know, uncooked potatoes because he was just in a hotel room. But I got news for Mr. Steve, and he's a good friend of mine. Hell, none of us were making any money. But, the old saying is you have to pay a man enough to eat and to buy gasoline for his car and to pay his hotel bill. You have to pay him that. I don't even think he was making that. So he made about 6 months there before he said, hell, I gotta go to mama. I gotta eat. I gotta have a meal. So he went back to Texas.